John, thank you very much. Just checking my producer chat to see if you're good, ladies and gentlemen. John Rich has been at Homeland Security. I saw this in our production notes. I'm like, is there anything this guy can't do? So okay, explain it all to me, John. What's happening now? Are you going to be a federal agent? Are you going to be like Elvis? Can we grab that? You're going to have the Elvis moment, aren't you? You're going to get deputized, won't you? Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, John Rich, we cannot hear. So we're going to... John, I'm so sorry.
He has to unmute himself, that's all.
Yeah, you just have to unmute yourself?
I can't do it.
There? Yeah. You're muted on your end. There you go, John. I can just hear that.
There we go.
Can we get a test here, John?
You got me now?
There we go. There you go. In case you're wondering if we do the show live, here we go.
That's how smart I am. That's how smart I am. I can't even unmute my own voice. You know what? My wife probably wishes she had a button like that for me. She would love that. Maybe I'll get her one for Christmas. Mute.
So, John, please tell me, again, get me that deputized. Elvis was deputized. Here, there it is. Is this going to be you next? Are you going to get a badge and a gun from the president? Are you going to go fight crime?
You know what? Might as well. I mean, I'm a willing servant. I can tell you that. I'm kind of like you, man. I look at this place we find ourselves in the country right now, that we have a window to do as much as we possibly can while we have the opportunity to do it. And that leads us to what you and I are talking about today with Homeland Security. So can I just tell you the story of how it happened?
Please.
Okay, so my wife and my 15-year-old son are part of a group where moms and sons, they go do stuff for people in the city. They'll do charity work and go help old people build their gardens and things like that. It's a really good group. And they got all the boys together and all the mothers together probably 4 months ago. And an agent from Tennessee with Homeland Security came to speak to the moms and the boys about cyber predators online. And so the whole thing was showing these boys this: if you're on social media, this is how it should be set. If you have these apps, watch out, because this is where predators are coming in. Just this whole download. And it was so astonishing to my wife and son. He came home, and so did she, and immediately started making changes. Immediately went in, well, let's see if my phone is set to that. Oh my God, turn that off. Like, they immediately started moving on it. It was so descriptive that the agent was even showing real-time evidence that they had put into evidence of predators communicating with kids, showing the text chats back and forth between this monster and this kid, to show these boys and these moms, this is how they talk. This is some of the cue words. This is what they're doing. They're trying to move you from playing Fortnite over to something that they control, like a social media app or a direct message chat or something like that. Anyway, Benny, it was so impactful. I told my wife, I said, this needs to be heard by every parent in America. Like, this needs to be widespread information immediately. She goes, I totally agree. I said, well, did you get a name on this guy? And she said, yeah, his name was Agent Lyles. So I just went on the internet and looked up Agent Lyles, DHS, and found an email address on this guy. And I just hit him up. And I said, this should be heard by everybody across the country. And he went, I can't believe I'm talking to you right now. Is this the country singer, John Rich? I said, yeah, man. And he said, well, this is above my pay grade. Let me send this up the chain. What an offer. So he sends it up, and then it goes up again and up again. And it finally gets to the decision makers at DHS. And I said, I want to do a live stream. I want to host a live stream with your lead agent and put it on X, where every parent out there can tune in and watch this. And I want to record it, so that way it's permanent. We'll stick it on YouTube, Rumble. You guys put it on your websites. That way people at churches, schools, communities, whatever, can just hit click on a button and watch this. So took a lot of time to put all this together, as you can imagine. But 2 nights ago, we did. We went live on X at 7:00 Central. I hit up the president. I hit up President Trump, and I said, I would love it if you would repost this live stream when it goes live on X. Now, that is a tough thing to pull off, because it's not like, hey, would you do this for me at some point? It's like very specific, the timing of this. Reached out to the president, reached out to some of his staff, and they said, we're gonna see if we can make this happen. And sure enough, he reposted it. I think right now, if you look at it, it's over 1 million views. on this thing. That's 1 million devices that were watching it. There were families gathered around. There were people sitting in churches that they had called in the congregations to watch this live stream. So, man, I just think it was a huge lick against the bad guys. I think the fact that it is now permanent, hopefully over time, millions of kids and millions of parents become aware of how to not become a victim of these people.
Well, and then it also becomes a part of the permanent federal record now when you have a Trump retweet. That's the voice of the president, right? So now this is nationally archived, John. What a powerful thing. We have the post up right now. It actually has nearly 3 million views. And so tell me a little bit more about what you learned here. Like, and you know, as father of 4 very young kids, I'm kind of all ears.
Well, it's disturbing. So I'll just warn you right now, it is disturbing, but I'll walk you through it. These predators will, let's say they're on Fortnite. Let's use that game. A lot of kids play that. Also Roblox, also a bunch of the other games, pretty much all of them at this point.
Minecraft.
Any game that's connected to the internet where the kid's sitting there with a headset on and they're playing and some other kid joins their team or whatever. This is where a lot of these predators go. So they will go on a game like Fortnite and they will say, hey, man, you're a really great player. Let me send you a skin, which is a way to change the way your player looks. And it normally costs the kid, 1,000 coins or whatever. And so this other kid will go, man, you're really cool. You're a great player. Here, let me gift you a skin. And then my son would be saying, wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, man, you're cool, dude. We should play more. This is great. And they start little by little, they're grooming these kids. Once they get enough of a dialogue going on, they then will move them over to either some kind of direct message or have them download an app where they can talk to them, or they'll look them up on Instagram. Here's where this gets scary. So once they can migrate them over to another platform, they then can geo-target where that kid is at. If they can get that kid to send a picture or even a text, they can actually go back and geo-target where the kid is, press that and go drive directly to where they're at. That's number one. That's because the location services on most phones are on, even on like pictures. Like if I took a picture and if my location services are on and yours are on, Benny, and I took a picture of this room right now and texted it to you, you could swipe up on that picture and a Google map will show where the picture was taken, what time it was taken. You then can click on it and drive directly to where I took that picture. Okay, so they'll use these tactics to figure out where they are. Then they will cross-reference where they are with their parents' social media. If the kid doesn't have social media, they'll go find mom's Facebook page. And then they will cross-reference that with everybody that she knows. And they will find pictures of the kid that mom has posted. It could be the kid's, he's on a baseball team or his birthday party. They will take that picture, feed it into an AI system, create child porn using that kid's face, using your kid's face. Then they will take that video and they will text that to the kid that they've been grooming and tell this kid, here's what you're going to do now, or I'm going to post this video to everybody on your mom's follower sites, your dad's. Oh, by the way, I know your parents' first and last names. I know you live at this address, go to this school. And if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, I'm going to show up and kill everybody in your family. That's how they talk to the kids. Okay? You following me here? So parents, including this one, was totally unaware that this is the tactic that they're using, that if you have pictures of your kids, and we all do this, they can take that and turn it into something horrific and use it against that kid. Last year, 36 million tips came in only in America, kids that were being targeted online. 36 million, man. That's 3 million a month. If you took every federal agent, every local cop, if you took all the volunteers you could get your hands on, it would be like throwing a snowball at a mountain. It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to put a dent in that at all. So when I learned all this stuff, that's when I said, this is when the civilian shakes hands with the feds and we do something together. They're not a marketing machine. They're DHS. They're out here to get bad guys. And I said, we need to apply some marketing to this. We need to have a guy like me host this. Let's promote it. Come on and let's do this thing live and see if we can get some views. And man, we certainly got some views. That's basically the whole process that happened. And I hope it inspires people to reach out. If you've got a platform, you've got an idea, they're listening. The Trump administration people, this is not Biden. They're listening. They're up for ideas, man. You can email those people. You can give them ideas. You can offer your service to them, and they'll find a way for you to help.
So here it is on screen. Klein, I want what do you have on screen right there? Oh. No, please, thank you. Here it is on screen. This is John. This was in your studio. So you're using your studio. You're using your resources, and you're partnering with DHS to save children. This is an incredible moment. This is actually what we voted for, right? Like this is
yes.
This is it. This is like all of us being stakeholders. This is all of us being shareholders in this country. It's
yes.
profoundly important. You can find all of this, and I encourage you all to watch it on John's social media. John, I wanted to sort of expand the aperture here, if you don't mind, because this seems to be something that's in the news quite a bit. The preying on young children. We're seeing this sort of on all fronts. And right now, currently, there is a musician who is in prison and has been in prison. His name is P. Diddy, Sean Combs. And he's in prison for doing something kind of similar. Kind of depends on, the trial's next month. So I guess we're going to find out what the feds can prove on the trial. But if the charging documents are to be believed, he is a horrific predator and a real true monster. Mm-hmm. Can you shed some light on from the music industry's perspective on this practice? Is this regular inside of the corporate music industry? Is this how people are treated? This seemed to be like kind of a known secret among the entertainment community, and a lot of people sweating bullets, I think, right now, who've been to these parties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should be. They should be sweating bullets. There are tactics deployed, in the entertainment industry where they will try to co-opt the big talent. They'll try to put them in positions to compromise them, get pictures and video on them, basically as blackmail, as extortion, where then they can make that artist do anything they want them to do. It is the most sadistic, wicked, satanic stuff you've ever seen. I have never been in one of those parties. I've never been invited to one, probably because they knew I would beat every last one of their asses into the wall if they tried something like that on me. I mean, there would be teeth and fingernails laying all over that room. And they knew that about me. And so I didn't get invited to those. But I do know people who have been invited to them, and they said, I walked in there and walked into a room and this horrible thing's going on. And I just turned around and just ran out and got back in the car and left. I mean, the stories about Sean Combs and some of these others, like after the MTV Awards, stuff that's going on in people's houses out in California. I mean, this is not fairy tale. This is real stuff. That's why the guy's in prison. Thank God we have Cash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, and we got some actual patriots out there who are going to do something about it, who are not compromised by these guys. I mean, I think we know that the Epstein list, the Epstein files, the politicians that are compromised. I mean, this is a deep, 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 dark situation. I know a lot of Americans, I would like to speak to this, a lot of patriots are very upset right now that they haven't seen the arrests. They haven't seen the Epstein list yet. You see it too, Benny. I mean, they're just screaming bloody murder on social media every day. They're calling in Bongino and Cash saying these guys are fakes. These guys are no good. They promised us one thing. I would just like to say to anybody that feels that way right now, we are about 13 weeks into a 208-week term of Donald Trump. These men and women are walking into an absolute nightmare situation. Okay. And if you're going to do mass arrests and you're going to arrest all these bad guys, you better make sure you've got all your buttons tightened up as tight as you can so the charges stick and they actually do wind up in prison for the rest of their lives. Okay. This is important stuff. And I really take issue with anybody out there who, after a few weeks, is telling me Dan Bongino is a fake. Cash Patel is a liar. I will not put up with that. Matter of fact, any patriot speaking like that about them is an idiot. I'll just put it out there. You're a dumbass. if that's the way you talk and that's what you actually think. You need to calm down for a minute and let these men and women go to work. This is a massive undertaking. When they finally pull the trigger on this and the bad guys are actually held to account, it is going to correct. It's going to be a course correction in our country in a major way. And I'm patient for it. I'm patient for that. I want to see the country corrected. I don't want a Band-Aid. I don't want a bottle rocket. I want a fireworks show. I want Mount Vesuvius to go off in this country and end this once and for all.
So this is the entire show, John. I'm so glad that you said that, because we're talking about the arrests, multiple judges being arrested today. You have federal prosecutions ongoing against deep state members from Tulsi Gabbard. You had mass firings inside of the DOJ of prosecutors on day one. You had mass firings inside of the FBI of agents on day one. And so this is a process that takes time, and it's also a process that you want to build. You don't just want it to be a PR operation. You want to do it correctly. James O'Keefe was just on right before you talking about you have to do these investigations correctly. They have to stick. If you get one detail wrong in the charging document, they'll get off, right? They'll walk free. And so doing it correctly is absolute necessity. I do want to jump back to what you said about the Diddy case. So with your knowledge of the music industry, and you've been to the highest, you've been on the highest mountaintops of that industry. If you've ever been to John Rich's house, there are tours online. One of them's on my channel. Nothing but gold plaques on every wall. Nothing but gold records on every wall. And the coolest freaking elevator you've ever seen. An elevator with the only photo of Donald Trump in a cowboy hat. I think we have it, actually. But the point is, John, this is some shocking stuff. So you're saying that these Diddy charges, you're saying that this was ubiquitous, that this is that you believe these charges, and that this was a practice that you either observed or knew of inside of the corporate music industry.
Yeah, I never observed it, but I did hear about it. And then if you look at who all is coming forward and leveling these charges, this is hundreds and hundreds of people. This is not like one guy or one girl leveling this against Sean Combs. This is hundreds of people. Again, they use it as a control mechanism. They use it for blackmail. These are not willing participants. I mean, if you read some of the indictments right now, they were blacked out. They were given something, roofied, whatever. They were basically knocked out, rendered unconscious, and then horrible things happened to them. And then they video it all, and then they show them the video and go, "You better do what we say." I mean, honestly, Trump said when he was running that he wanted to institute the death penalty for human traffickers. Remember when he said that? I think they should get the death penalty. He said, especially for child traffickers, death penalty. You can't rehab these people. They should get the death penalty. I don't think that's actually happened yet. But man, I don't think that's a fate beneath what they deserve, especially for kids. If you're doing that, I mean, listen, this trial is going to be, incredibly disturbing to people when they find out what's going on. And Sean Combs is just one of them. He's just one guy. There's operations like that going on all over the place. That's what Epstein Island was. By the way, Epstein Island's not the only island where that happens. They're doing it in places all over the world where they co-opt people and do this. And then, of course, you do have some people that are willing participants. Like if they bring in kids, for instance, they're trafficking kids. Well, if you're a grown person and you're standing in a room and something horrible is happening to a kid and you don't stop it or die trying, you're complicit. You get to go down too. Enough is enough. Again, you see that look on Trump's face every now and then when these subjects come up. Totally different look in his eye. You're looking at the granddaddy look. You're looking at what the father's eyes look like. He's thinking about his grandkids when he hears these stories and he gets these reports. Same thing with DHS. This live stream that we did, that's what this was all about. There are simple ways that you can adjust the way your kids are operating online and keep the bad guys out. Benny, I know you and I share a lot in common, and I guarantee you we have this in common. There is nothing I would not do to keep a predator from breaking in my front door or breaking through my glass and coming in and putting his hands on my kids. Literally nothing. If all I had was a spoon, both of his eyes are coming out. It's going straight into his throat. I mean, I will kill this man with anything I have, including bare hands, whatever it would take. That's what I would do to protect my kids if that type of person got into my space where my kids were. But we'll sit here and let them into our homes silently through our kids' iPhones and tablets and even Chromebooks that they get at school. They'll silently enter your house and you'll never know about it until something horrible happens. That was the point of the live stream. I would urge every parent right now that's watching, it's right there at the top of my X page at John Rich. Get your family around. We edited this so it would be age appropriate, 6th grade and up. If they're under 6th grade, probably wouldn't show it to them. Say 12 years old and up. It's okay for them to watch this. And I promise you, you will never think the same way about it again once you watch this.
Man, John, so just really quickly, you're saying that if this is all to be proven against Diddy, then death penalty charges should be on the table. If he's
I think pedophiles should have the death penalty.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you?
Yes. And that's why I live in a state that actually all but guarantees it. That's what happens in the state of Florida.
Jesus Christ thought they should have the death penalty. He stated so in Matthew when he said, you'd be better off to have a millstone tied around your neck and cast into the sea than to ever cause one of these little ones to stumble, meaning to mess with them at all, to mess with their innocence. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, said you'd be better off to die than to do that. That was his own words. That's probably the strongest thing he ever said. I mean, the most brutal, aggressive statement of the man's life. I can't think of another one where he ever said you'd be better off to die than to do that. So yes, you can't rehab these people. There's a whole culture out there that I learned from working with the DHS, an entire culture of toddler porn. Toddlers. There are parents in this country. One guy in particular they were telling me about who was renting his 2-year-old son to people who would fly in and drive in from hundreds and thousands of miles away. And for 1 hour, I'll give you my son for 1 hour.
All right.
Okay. This is the level of depravity, of satanic, demonic influence that is in this country. So do they deserve the death penalty? Yes, they deserve the death penalty. And I hope Trump institutes that.
Good. I mean, whew, man,
I'm sorry to unsettle you. I'm sorry to say things that make people's stomach turn, but parents need to wake up and understand this is not a game. This is serious business.
Revelation. You produced this song. It went platinum, gold, everything. It was top of everything. It's like you predicted this moment, John. What was this? A couple months ago, you were on the show. And you're talking about this. And you're talking about this battle between darkness and light. And that this is what we're about. You came on the program and you said, we're about to enter a real moment of darkness versus light. And boy, you were correct. I just want to give you like a little opportunity here in closing to reflect on this, because it does seem like, man, God's using you. You know, it's becoming your art and your music and what you're creating is having a very deep, much deeper meaning. It's remarkable to see you sort of align all of that spiritually. It's really neat.
Well, I am a willing servant. I'm a willing participant to whatever he tells me to do. The main challenge for me is making sure I understand what that is, and then I go execute that. He put it on my heart to reach out to DHS and try to do something really big, to try to have some impact with millions of people, so I did it. The song Revelation, he put it on my heart to write that song. I believe he wanted that message to be out there that, hey, everybody, this is not Democrats arguing with Republicans and back and forth. This is much bigger, much deeper, much nastier than that. And that's what the spiritual warfare side of this is. Listen, there's no human being that's ever born that on their own volition, without demonic influence, would do the things that I am learning about that are being done to kids in this country. You're not born that way. You don't just happen to become that way. You have sold your soul to Satan himself. Satan is controlling you. You're an empty vessel, owned and operated by Satan himself, and you carry out the devil's will. That's what it is. And so on the other side of that, you've got the Christians. You've got the ones who are sold out to Jesus Christ. And we're supposed to be listening to what he's telling us to do. And when he gives you a command, you follow it. You go do it. And it doesn't matter if everybody doesn't like it. That's the point. If everybody likes it, it's pointless. Fence riders be damned. Get off the fence. You're not helping anybody. Matter of fact, you're aiding and abetting the enemy by not being on offense against them. They are on offense against us every waking minute of their lives. That's why I like you, Benny, because you're on offense. I'm on offense. Trump is on offense. This is an offensive moment in the United States for the patriots, for the God-fearing men and women who have been brutalized year after year. And this thing has festered into such a situation that it's now affecting 36 million reports in 1 year of kids being targeted online. Okay, this is where we're at. Unacceptable. We go on offense now. We take the fight to them. We make them retreat. We push them back. And when we knock them off their feet, we cuff them, drag them off, and you never see them again. They get locked up forever or worse. That is why Kash Patel is taking his time. That is why Dan Bongino is taking his time. Listen, if you can't trust Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, then you need to give up, because those are the two most trustworthy guys you're ever going to meet. I know both of them personally for a very long time. So patriots out there screaming and holler at them, why don't you sit down and hold your tongue for a minute and let these men do their work? I just had to say that. It aggravates me to no end.
You said earlier in the interview, John, that they don't have the capacity to even speak on their behalf because they can't do so from a federal position. And so it's actually up to us. And I'm so glad that you went there. Ladies and gentlemen, you should go there with John Rich. You should subscribe, obviously, to John. Millions of people follow his content. Tens and hundreds of millions listen to his music. Here's also his YouTube page. Revelation, just a banger. And a little birdie tells me that John Rich got some bangers in the can as well, and is gonna be smashing open the music industry a couple more times. And so, John, will be happy to ride with you. We're so proud of you, man, and Godspeed.
I appreciate you, friend. Thanks for having me on.